Hi. Um, we're going to do the twisted log cabin today. I had a few questions and somebody asked kind of to review it. I know we did it a couple months ago, but it's always worth going back and taking another look. This is the pattern, and I'm doing it in a little bit different colorway. I'm using an ombre. Um, I think it's called, oh, I don't want to get it wrong. It's, I want to say a Gelato Ombre from Maywood Studios. And this one goes from yellow to purple. It's got blue and green. This is 1, 2, 3, almost. This is one end, the yellow, and this is the other end. So it has, I don't know if you can see the colors here, but that's our colorway. So let's see. I just added. I'm getting ready to add piece number 18, and this is my stack of fabrics. What I do when you really want to be organized, I cut apart all the foundations. There's 16 to this. This quilt is 40 inches by 40 inches, comes with 16 blocks. And what I did is I cut them all apart like this. And then I cut all of my fabrics. And then I made a stack like this is how thick it is. There's 49 pieces to this. But these are stacked in numerical order. This is piece number 1. This is piece number 49. And so they're all in order. Everything is face up, so I know that the next piece on the stack is the next piece on the foundation. And I did that with all 16 of them. They're all here, and I put a clip on them, keep them together, put a rubber band around them or whatever. So when I pick one up and I open it up, I know exactly where I am. Like today, if this was the end of the show, I would take this stack of fabrics, I would put it like that, and I would wrap this around it and put the clip back on it. And if I didn't get back to it for a couple of weeks, it doesn't matter how long, I just know that when I open this up, this is my stack of fabrics to work from. Set them there, and I just know that the next one on the top of this stack is the next one to go on the foundation. So it really makes, at this point, it's pretty much all the thinking's done. It's pretty much just sit and sew and have a good time. So number 18 is next. We'll put right sides together. Put a pin in it, makes it easier to get it to the machine. And turn it over, and we're going to stitch on the line. This is space 18, if you can see that. Hi! Thank you for joining us. And then I like to put the foot down and put my needle down, make sure it is right on the line. Line my fabric up. Okay, let's go down the line. This one is way easier than it looks. I think I say that about all of them. I hope everybody had a great Independence Day weekend. It was pretty awesome. See all the flyovers and the fireworks and just everything. The patriotism was pretty awesome. Pretty sad last night that our men's soccer lost, but they still did an awesome job. Turned a lot of Americans into soccer fans. Okay, that was 18 here. This is 18. 19 is up here. So we're going to put our straight edge even with that line where we're going to sew number 19 on. Fold the foundation back. Use the add a quarter ruler. Hooks right there on. Whoa. Let's make sure we're in the right place again. Fold this back. You never want to cut your foundation. Use the add a quarter ruler. It just hooks right there on your straight edge. Trim that extra fabric away. There's my 1/4 inch seam allowance. And now we'll take our next piece and put right sides together. And this being an ombre, you can kind of see the darker to the lighter, and that's, we're going darker to lighter. So I'm going to put the darker edge down. So when I open it up, it's just slightly lighter on the other side. We're just making a progression of the color change. Remember, we don't backstitch. You're going to have seams, crossing over seams, so it'll hold everything in place. And then when we get out to the last round, when there won't be any more seams crossing over, we run our stitching all the way out to the broken line so that it will hold in place till you get them all, till you get your blocks all stitched together. What I love about this, it's all straight line stitching, but you're starting to see the curve. But if you look really close, each point is perfect. And I didn't worry about it. I didn't even think about it. It's just happening. Okay, that's 19. 20 is right here. We just keep going in a circle. Fold our foundation back. And I did remember to put a new blade in this morning. Okay, whoops. And I think this fabric, this is a grunge. Is just a little texture to this. And of course, if you look at the ombre, it's got a little bit of lines in it to give it a little textured look also. So it's not just plain flat. If you follow me for very long, you know I do not like threads. I say that every day. And then 21 is right here. This is one of those I could sit and watch a little TV. Because there's nothing to match up. It's just sitting here and sewing these in order. And this one, I'm going the little lighter. You can kind of a yellowish tint on the bottom. So I'm going to put that here because we're working towards the darker green into turquoise into the blue on the ombre fabric. My needle down, perfect. See, if I put my needle down and I don't have it in the right place, you can just lift it up and move it over, and you don't have to do any unstitching or anything. And I really do, if you're new here, recommend an open toe foot. So you can see where your needle is stitching. I think 21 goes to there. I went too far. I was right the first time. Crazy. But we use a regular stitch length, so it's easy to remove the stitching. And I really recommend doing it on the fabric side, not on the foundation side. Don't want to run the risk of ripping a hole in the foundation. Well, that was easy. Okay, beautiful. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, now we can press it. Okay, 21. 22 is up here. Fold it back. Awesome. Did you get your fabric? If you didn't get it today, it definitely better be there tomorrow. You know, what's funny on those Christmas placemats is over the years we have done them in different fabrics, you know, and offered the kits. And I always cut for the full kit with the intention of making the full set for myself. I have one of each fabric way. So this latest fabric set gave me my 4th complete placemat. So once this fabric has run its course, I will have a set of the same design, but all 4 will be different fabrics. But I think they'll look fine. You get the one sample made and on to the next project. Okay, that was 22. I know we twist in the opposite direction I'm used to. 23 is here. I tell you, I hate threads everywhere. Okay, this one, this ombre, this is the blue, and this is a little more greenish tint to it. So the blue side is the one I want to put against the edge of the piece that's already sewn on. I think that was one of the main questions for this one, on how did I get the smooth transition of colors. It's amazing how just all this straight stitching does give the visual effect of curved piecing. I'm going to turn it down. Okay. 27. Wait, 23 is right here that we just did. 24 is over here. Right there on that seam line, fold this back. Use my add quarter ruler. And it's really, really nice when you have a sharp blade in your cutter. I waited a little too long. I'm going to put a link, if I can figure out how to do that, for these rotary blades I bought. I didn't want to say anything till I'd had them a while and got a good test of longevity. And I am very pleased with them. And they're very reasonably priced. So I'm going to check with the kids who manage the website, because I'm a little challenged, technologically challenged, and See if we can't get a link on there for them. I guess on the website. Definitely worthwhile. So yes, I turned, you know, I usually press on this pressing table so I don't have to move my chair so much. But I got my big 5-foot long wool mat on this table and I really like it. So I'm going to have to figure out how I can rearrange this room and have my 5-foot mat here. Okay, 24, 25 is over here, and the top one on my stack is green, so I know I'm keeping up with where everything should be. It is a nice way to double check yourself when you have your fabric stacked in order. You can do that. I think I'm going to have to switch to my longer ruler. Okay, see, and on this one, it's greener here on this edge, the blue here. So I'm going to put the green edge against the green fabric that's down there. I hope that clears up that question. Okay, that's 25. 26 is right here. I was just in my head thinking, I guess that's where you do all your thinking is in your head. I'm okay today. This block, once you have all your fabrics cut and organized like I do, I would say this block would take, yeah, maybe an hour, a little more than that. And I would say, okay, I'll do one block each day, like for a little warm-up. And in 16 days, you'd have all your blocks made. And that sounds pretty reasonable. And if you don't, give yourself, say, hey, 1 month. That would mean only like a little over half a block a day. That wouldn't be anything at all. I play little math games with myself when I'm sewing. Okay, let's see. That was number 26. Number 27 is over here. I'm going to get my longer ruler out. Whoops. And you can use your small ruler. For years, I didn't know there was such a thing as a 12-inch ruler, or 8. They make them in 18 also. I just would use this and then, cut so far, then scoot it up and finish cutting the rest of the way. But since I have the long one, I will use it. Okay, number 27. And this one we're going from blue to green, so the top there is a little bluer. So it's the edge I'm going to put against this. Hey, Sandy. Hope you had a great weekend. We had a pretty quiet weekend, actually. We lived vicariously through the kids, constantly bugging them to share what they were doing and seeing. I'm so glad the boys are old enough that they will always remember this special 250th. Hate to admit, I remember I was married for the 200th. And it was pretty special. Ouch. Okay, 27, 28 is over here. Look at the curve is going. I went through my ombre fabrics. Somewhere I saw a similar quilt to this. And I think it was an ombre fabric that went from red to white to blue. Something like that, I don't know. So, I have quite a stock of ombre fabrics, this line of fabrics. Oops, went a little far there. Cut that. I was thinking, geez, why didn't I think of that ahead of time? Could have had a neat table topper. And if you don't want to make all 16, I guess you could make 9 blocks, but I don't know what the design would look like. I'd have to move. This is the 16. I don't know. You wouldn't want to just take it off like that, because then this would not be in the middle. But you could play around with them. You don't have to set them exactly the way we did. There's options. Or you could just do, if you want a small table topper, you could just do the 4 in the middle. Have the one big, I don't know what you'd call that. It's not really a star, is it? If you just did it like that, had that in the center. it'd only be a 1, 2, 3, 4. What does this measure? 9 inches? 10 inches. Oh, so it'd be 20 by 20. That would be a decent size little centerpiece. Where are we? 28, 29, right here. And you can always tell the last one that you sewed on by what's the last one you can flip open and it's not stitched down. Okay, and we're going from green to blue. See, we're right in the middle, so I think these are pretty close to the same pieces. We're going from green to the blues, so on this one, this is the greener side. I don't know if you can, with the light, if you can tell that. But it is greener on that side, so we'll put it down there against the greener piece that's already sewn on there. And turn it over. Yeah, these ombres are blending beautifully. $29, $30s right here. $26, $29. Okay. Yeah, that's, if I wasn't lucky enough to have this whole place, I've seen some pretty awesome garages and sheds turned into awesome little getaway she sheds, little getaway sewing studios that are dreamy. I started, I now work, this is the house my husband grew up in. It's an old farmhouse. And I mean old. I think it's pretty close to 100 years old. And I used one room. One of the bedrooms was my sewing room. It's right across the driveway from our house, so it was convenient. And as a matter of fact, when Donald was young, well, a teenager, he wanted a little more independence, so he moved down here. 30, 31. He had a bedroom down here, and in the living room, he had computers set up. Anyway, as when he went into the Air Force then, Mom took over one room at a time until I have the whole place. It's all mine. And I have one bedroom left as a bedroom. Whoops. Yeah, we're going to, whoops. For when the kids come, they still like to stay here. But I've taken over the whole building, and I've taken over another building, which is why it seems like we're constantly remodeling, moving stuff. I'm hoping someday to get a dedicated building. I have quite the collection of vintage sewing machines, and I really, really, really want a place to display them all. The ones that are in cabinets are in beautiful cabinets. I have 3 treadle machines. They're all beautiful, and I really, really want to share them. But I would love to have a place to display them. So it's just so very hard for me to find the time that it takes, like, to move the whole office. That was 31, 32's over here. Like right now, when I'm not doing this, I am in the middle of writing and editing a couple of new patterns for another designer and a fabric company that I'm very excited about. Can't really tell you much more than that. I believe they will be out, released sometime this fall. But this has been a project we've been working on for over a year. And now is crunch time that I really, really have to get it done. And then I have several new ones that I've designed that I absolutely need to. I'm going to lock myself in my office and write. Because I don't want to share anything until they're written and ready. And I've got so many other things going, and I told my family, don't expect to see a lot of me for the next couple of weeks. But it's so exciting, at least to me. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm having a great time. Oh, yes, this is coming along. Okay, that was 32. 33's over here. I know this last week, some of you shared your projects that you finished, and they're all, I gotta tell you, you all do beautiful work. Okay, we're going down. See this one? It's really hard. The camera doesn't pick it up. But this is the lighter blue. We're going into the darker blue. That's going to continue on into the purple, which is the way this one's going. So we'll put the lighter, kind of the turquoise. Yeah, that's... I heard Laura talking yesterday about, we were talking about tension on the machines. And I did find that, if you followed me any length of time, I have had a real problem with the tension on this machine. I love this machine. It's not a fancy one, and it is mechanical, not computerized, and that was on purpose. I have computerized machines. I wanted a mechanical, and I love this big arm here. The only thing I complain about is the tension. I did a lot of research, and I did find numerous people who said you really have to wind the bobbin very tight. The thread has to be really tight on the bobbin, which means, like when it's wound, when you squeeze the thread, you don't want it to be spongy. You want it to be really tight. And that has made a world of difference in my tension. So if you happen to have a Baby Lock Jazz 2, I can attest to the fact that, where am I here? 33, 34. That really does work, but you really have to wind. So I have a separate bobbin winder, and I set the tension on it as tight as it would go and still let the thread go through it. And that's really made a big difference. So I took this machine all apart. I really felt that, when you bring your, I'll show you here. You bring your thread, comes around this way, and then it hooks down here. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. There's the little notch that you hook your thread in and bring it around. And most every other machine I have has a secondary tensioner spot. This one does not. So it really has to be tight on the bobbin to get any tension on your bottom thread. But I have my my upper tension at the high end of the normal range, and it's, I think, let me show you. This is my bobbin thread, so I think I'm getting good tension now. I'm pleased. It just took a little research and a little trial and error, but we're good now. And I'm using a 30 weight bobbin thread. Yeah, 30 weight. So I don't know if I go up to 40 weight, I don't know if it's gonna make a big difference or not. I will let you know. I know for my long arm, all I use it was a lot of practice to get the tension on it correct, and I found that it holds perfect tension when I use the 40 weight glide thread. So that is all I use on there. I don't have a problem. I can switch up colors and not have a problem. So I'm not wasting a lot of time, getting the tension right again. Just know, got to use that thread. Fortunately, there's tons of colors. 34, 35 is over here. So all is good right now. Yeah, I've not been pleased with the bobbin winder on here. I have a standalone. I have a couple standalone. So, and they're easier to adjust. So, yeah, I love having you here. That my greatest joy is to think that you are creating while I'm creating, and we may not be creating the same thing, but it's like we're having a little sew along. Okay, see, we're working from the green out to the yellow, so this one is definitely more yellow on that edge than on this edge. So we'll put the greener edge against the green fabric that's there. And I think you can see that the colors are blending beautifully. I'm going to have to look through my ombre fabrics. And this is the Laura. We offered this one in it, or will be. I think the fabric arrived last Thursday or Friday. So I can finish kitting this one. Goes from a very light turquoise to a through the dark purple to a light purple, lavender, whatever. And the background is a white on white on that one. And I'm thinking that this one I'm doing right now is going to be available in a kit as well. But then I would like to experiment with something maybe more the earth tones. I'm not sure this is... I don't consider this a traditional type pattern. So I'm not sure what I would think about doing it in the more traditional earth tone colors. It could be beautiful. I don't know. And I do believe I'm finally getting this one. The numbers go in the opposite direction of how most of my log cabins go. So I've had a hard time realizing I'm turning it clockwise. I'm getting it figured out. 35, 36. Might have to do this maybe maybe in the more earth tone colors with in a big quilt, like a throw, or even a bed quilt. And we do sell packages of just the blocks, so if you buy this the pattern, the 40 block or 16 block pattern, you can always buy more blocks and just keep building it. And when they finish at 10 inches, it's pretty easy to figure out how many you need. If you want to make a big quilt, my suggestion would be buy the pattern, make the first 16, and then order a block package. I believe the block packages, don't quote me, I think there's 12 to a package. So order a package, make the 12, order, just till you get it the size you want it. You don't have to buy it all at once, although you only have to pay one shipping charge if you buy them all at once. But if you're buying something else, throw in another package of blocks and you can make it as big as you want. Okay. Number 37 is over here. I'm getting the hang of this. I haven't made this one in a long time. So I hope those of you, the couple that asked me the questions on this, I hope this is clearing it up. Oh, I love these colors. Okay, see, this is a lighter blue going to the darker blue towards the purple, so I want to put the blue edge, so when we open it up, it's a little more towards the purple color. Yes, Lorraine, we will be offering packages of just the blocks. That is part of what's on my list for writing this week, to get all that stuff caught up. I'm not paying attention here. I think I went right. Yep. And then I think on the floating blocks, this one, I am going to be offering packages of the triangle strips, because there's a company, in fact, I was carrying their patterns, but I sold out. I need to order more before I head out to the shows. That are all their patterns are based on doing the 60-degree triangles. And so I am going to be offering just the strips of triangles, and so that if you want to make their patterns, much easier than doing it without the foundation. Too many bias edges to throw things off on those. So we will have those in a couple of sizes. Again, that's part of what I need to get caught up on. I'm going to lock myself away and get that all done. So we may revisit a couple of projects Thursday and Saturday here until the new things are done and edited and ready to go. Oh, the jelly cake. That's a fun one. I can't even tell you, Sandy, how many of those I have made. In fact, at one of my trunk shows that I did early in the year, I surprised Bob. He had not seen one I made. I made it in all, I think it was Kansas Troubles fabrics, and all in browns. And, geez, I made it a while back. I hadn't finished it. I got it quilted secretly. And, he goes to these things with me. And when I showed it, I said, and I made this one for Bob. And he was very surprised because normally we don't get to keep the quilts we make. So he has it on his side of the bed as a little extra. Made me feel good. Okay, we're going from green to yellow, so I want to put this green side against the green one. We're getting out there. I think I have 3 of these done already. And I put them away someplace safe. I couldn't find them this morning. Oh, I was going to share with you. I'll have them here Thursday. I was going to share with you a couple of my art quilts. That was 39.40. Hey, you know what that means? 9 left to go. Or 10. Most of my art quilts, I have a couple down here, but most of them are up at the house. I've actually thought about teaching I started doing art quilts 25 years ago, before they were really accepted as quilts. We were considered rogue. And now it's neat to see. Oh my gosh, the talent is amazing to me. Okay. Must be 41 right there. Thank you, Sandy. That means a lot. It's just a passion. I have been in love with fabric and thread my entire life. My grandma got me sewing at a super young age, and I just fell in love with it. I wish there were 48 hours in a day because I could mess with thread, fibers, anything like that. That's my happy place. I think, yeah. Actually, on that jelly cake quilt, I'm thinking that it would take one more jelly roll because there's enough from the layer cake to go with 2 jelly rolls. It would make it twice as big. You wouldn't have the fabric for the borders, but you would end up with 80 blocks. So it would make a nice big quilt. 42 over here. So I've thought about that, but I got to find the right fabrics to kit it. Because you're right, it is a very easy one. It goes quickly. And there's a lot of different ways to set your blocks to get totally different looks. So I'm going to put a second pin down here because these long strips sometimes will veer off as you're sewing. I don't know if I told you guys, last week when I was going to bed, I looked out my bedroom window and it overlooks, looks out onto our driveway and across to Bob's shop and to my shop. And we have a big street light that's on, comes on automatically every night. Anyway, I looked out the window and I was shocked. There were 5 big bucks, big, all, big rack antlers. Just, it was so gorgeous to see. And they have been coming back virtually every night. And I don't get it because there's nothing in the driveway for them to eat or to lure them. They do come close to some tomato plants I have, but so far they have not bothered them. But, oh, it was beautiful. I was so excited. I got it on the security camera. But I don't know what the attraction is. Well, Lorraine, I am so lucky this is my job. Now I tell Bob, oh, I have to go to work. And I'll come down here and have something I want to sew, which is why I'm behind on my pattern writing. Because my favorite thing to do is sew. But I am lucky. I tell him I'm going to work, but this is what I get to do for work. And really, really lucky. It's not work. Uh-oh. Ran out of bobbin thread. I wasn't even paying attention. I should have known when we were looking at the bobbin talking about the tension. I saw it was low. My girlfriend and I were talking the other day about having to remember which way your thread goes on your bobbin. Which way do you thread your needle? Not, well, the new ones, of course, that thread from the front. My Singer Vintages, I think my featherweights, the thread goes from the inside to the out. My other ones, the bigger ones, I think the 66 or the 99, whatever they are, I don't know, go from the outside in. It's impossible to try to remember it all. I used to think I could. And because some of my bobbins go clockwise, some of them go in the machines counterclockwise, so I'm going to turn this up. I think I need to put water in the iron. We're getting out there right to the end almost. That's 43, 44. And then after this one, I think the last four I'll go all the way out to the edge on one end. Whoops, on one end. 44. Put 2 pins in. Don't forget, just like the people who asked me on this one, if there is something you need clarified or you want to see again, you know, even if we've already done it, I can go back and do it again, show you the whole thing, or just answer your questions. Because remember, if you got a question, somebody else probably has the same question and is just afraid to ask. There's a little steam. Okay, 44, 45. Sometimes your outer quarter will get caught on the seam allowance underneath, so make sure you get over that to your straight edge. Okay, and this one, the bluer is there. I want to make sure we get that right edges. You can get this. It's a Bonnie. This is the pattern. Go to our website, www.easypiecing.com. This is called the Twisted Log Cabin Table Topper. The pattern comes with detailed step-by-step instructions and all the foundations. This is 16 foundations to make this table topper. You can, our block packages have no instructions in them, so we really recommend starting with a pattern. But if you wanted to make this into a bigger quilt, you can order more blocks. Eventually, we will probably come out with a larger pattern. But in the meantime, if you want to make it larger, you can order extra blocks. I believe there's 12 blocks to a package. And these finish at 10 inches. These are our leave-in foundations. They just stay in your quilt forever. You use a regular stitch length. Now see, now my tension's off, so this bobbin might not be wound so great. Anyway, use a regular stitch length since you're leaving this in. It doesn't add any weight or bulk to your quilt, but it keeps everything nice and straight. And as you can see here, all of our points where the pieces meet. They're all just perfect, and I don't stress it all over it. It just happens. If you sew on the line, it's going to be perfect. Okay, 46 is next. And this one goes from almost to the end. Okay, now there's no more seams that are going to cross this seam. So we're going to go we're going to start out here at the broken line. I have a daughter-in-law who lives in Virginia. She used to live in North Carolina. Before she was my daughter-in-law. She does live shows here on our channel on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Yeah, I think that bobbin's gonna... Not good. It's okay, but... Okay, that's 46. 47 is over here. You guys were on the last round. Oops, I wasn't supposed to sew all that way out. Note to self, while I'm in writing patterns, I need to correct that. Okay, we're out to the yellow. How to get what to watch the live, or how to get the patterns. Laura does, she takes care of the web sales, except for fabric kits. I send out fabric kits from California. All of our patterns get shipped out of Virginia. Oh yeah, I hear this bobbin's not doing too good. Not wound right. One more stitch. I don't even want to look at it. Ugh. It'll hold, but it doesn't look very good. Okay, 47, 48. I did it again. I'm talking and not paying attention. There. Want that to fold back. There we go. Looking good. Lift that up over the seam allowance. Got that right against the straight edge. Okay. I must have done it right because my colors are coming out right and right where they're supposed to be. So I will be on the East Coast not until next March. I'm going to be at Mid-Atlantic again. I will be teaching 2 classes. One will be half-day beginner class, and the other one will be full-day advanced. And we have not, we're working on what projects we're going to be doing. I think in August they'll be announcing what the classes are. So stay tuned for that. And Laura's going to be mostly manning the booth. So I'll be there to help her set up, and I'll be in the booth a couple of days. Love doing that show. Okay, and you know what? The next piece is our last piece, number 49. So this has taken me about an hour and a half to do this block, which is not bad. I'm thinking about doing a couple of mini quilts on here. I don't know if anybody would be interested. I have, oh, wow, I must not have cut this one down, because it's way extra long. I have, if you've looked on our website or been to a show and seen, we have, I don't know, about 6 mini quilts, and I have about 4 more that have been designed. And actually, some of them, I think the patterns might even be written. But I was thinking if you'd be interested, I would love to do a couple of those. Show you that they're not nearly as difficult as they look. And this one goes all the way out. Well, thank you for joining us. We're going to finish this one up, and then I want to start another one because I had started this before we went on live. Okay, and I am going to run a line of stitching all the way around because these are long stretches where the foundation is not attached to the fabric. And we like to have it attached for when we're sewing them together. So you just want to make sure that you keep the foundation flat against the fabric and just run a line of stitching between the solid line and the broken line. It just keeps everything together so when you're joining your blocks, nothing's going to get distorted. And I don't change my stitch size. You can if you want, but it's not necessary. Oh, this tension is terrible, terrible, terrible. If I remember right now, I think that bobbin was set aside up there because it wasn't properly wound. Okay, so once your foundation is all covered, we're going to trim around the outside edge. You want to trim, you can see there's a solid line and a broken line. The broken line is very close to a perfect 1/4 inch, but don't use that as your cutting line. Actually use your ruler and trim it. You'll find that if you do that, when you go to join a block to a block and you've trimmed it a 1/4 inch, if your edges meet, when you put the right sides together of 2 blocks, if the edges meet, more than likely your seam line is going to meet at the exact same place. So sometimes our broken lines have to get moved ever so slightly one way or the other just to fit things for printing. So it's just way better if you use your ruler and trim it a 1/4 inch from the solid line. Now when we do curved lines, those are exactly a 1/4 inch. We keep those because you don't have a ruler to use as your guide. So those we take the extra time. We don't try to squish them together for printing purposes. But the only reason on these straight lines that I have that broken line out there is because I want you to get your fabric out that far so you have ample fabric in your seam allowance. Otherwise, we wouldn't print them. There we go. So our block is complete. Hi, Denise. Diane. Oh, thank you, Sandy. Yes, Laura's on Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 to noon Eastern Time. And I'm on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday from noon to 2 West Coast Time. Okay, so there is our completed block. Put this up here. I think that's going to look cool. And then you can decide if you want the yellow to be the center when you do the 4 or if you want the purple. Like this. This one, the middle one is purple, the other ones are the turquoise. So you can set it however you want. Because your center one and then the outer halves all the way around will all be the same. And then the 4, these 4 will all be the same colors come together. And this cover doesn't show, but that is not white in between there. That's a very light turquoise. In person it shows up a little better. But yeah, so you can do it either way. You could have set it so that the turquoises came together here, and then these would all be your purples. So it's whichever way you want to do it. Have some options. So there we've got block number 1. So I want to real quickly show you how to start this, because on every block, the most often asked question is, how do I start? I forget how to start. So we will show you that. Again, I have all my pieces lined up in numerical order, 1 to 49. 49's on the bottom, 1's on the top. They're all right side up. So if I get this partially done and have to wrap up for the day, I can take the rest of the stack, whatever's left, put it here in the middle, roll it back up. And when I unroll it to get back to working on it, I know exactly which piece is next because it's the one that's right side up on the top of the stack. So, and this is how I organize most all of my blocks. There are some that it's the same piece in the same place for every block. I don't necessarily then do what I've done here. I'll have them lined up on, I use empty bolts. I cover empty bolts with scrap piece of batting, because the fabric kind of sticks to it a little bit. And I'll line them up in numerical order if all of them are the same. It just happens 49 pieces takes up numerous empty bolts. So this was just easier to do it like this. Anyway, so we're going to take fabric piece number 1 and we're going to set it on our table with the wrong side facing up. It's the wrong side. We're going to take our foundation, we're going to set it on top of that piece of fabric. Set it when it's like you want to be able to read the printing. It does say somewhere in the seam allowance on the outside, stitch with this side facing up, fabric underneath. It's very important. When you're paper piecing or foundation piecing, you're working on the right side of the foundation, looking through to the wrong side of your fabric. So what you're looking at here, your foundation, is a mirror image of what you're going to get when you turn it over with the right sides of the fabrics facing you. And most of these, most of your blocks will be back if you turn your foundation over backwards so you can't read the numbers. You're going to get a mirror image of what you want, and if you like this, you need it to be all the right way. So just remember, you do all your work on the right side of the foundation. That's the side you can read. You're going to do your trimming and your sewing on this side, and you're looking through to the wrong side of your fabrics. Right side of your foundation is the side you can read, and you look through it to the wrong sides of your fabric. Okay, so we're going to set this foundation on top of our first piece of fabric. Remember, we're looking through it to the wrong side of the fabric. You want about 1/4 of an inch of fabric to go past the line. This is space 1, this is space 2. This is the line where we're going to sew piece number 2 on. So you want about 1/4 inch of fabric to go past that line. That's your seam allowance. You're setting your seam allowance. So we're going to put a pin back down here away from where we're going to sew to hold that on. And I hope you can see I have about 1/4 inch of fabric going past that line. You also want to make sure you have at least 1/4 of an inch going past the other 3 lines of space 1. So you got that in place. You pinned it to hold it in place. Now we're going to turn it over so the right side of our fabric is facing up. And then off of my stack over here, I'm going to take fabric piece number 2, and I'm going to put right sides together just like in traditional piecing. Put those edges even. And then I like to put a pin here. And then we're going to turn it over so we have the foundation side facing up, and we're going to stitch on that line. Now that I've got it here, I'll take the pin out so I don't sew over it. And I like to put my foot down and then manually either turn the handle on your machine or push the button to make the needle go down to make sure you have it right on the line. I really recommend an open toe foot, and then you're just going to stitch on the line from one end to the other. You don't back stitch. Use a regular stitch length. Whatever you use for your traditional piecing is fine to use on this. You're going to leave the foundation in. So no ripping out paper, so you don't need to perforate it with those little itty-bitty stitches. And my machine is really bad with that. Here I was just bragging earlier about my tension. I think it'll be okay. And then after you've stitched it, you want to take it to the ironing board. And you want to set your stitches. When you set your stitches, you're setting them into the fibers of your fabrics. So when you open this piece up, you don't have such a ridge to go over. It will give you a flatter seam. And I do normally use, I use this lowest setting on my iron where I can still get a little bit of steam. I like steam. It seems to give me a flatter seam. Steam seam. Okay. Number 2. Number 3, we're just going to go in numerical order. This is upside down now, but you can see number 3 is right here. We offer several different pineapple blocks. Okay, so 3, this is where we're going to sew it on. So we're going to put our straight edge along the seam line where we're going to add our next piece. We're going to fold the foundation back. You don't want to cut your foundation. And then you're going to take your add 1/4 ruler and you're going to just hook it there on your straight edge and trim that little bit of extra away. And then we're going to turn this over. You can see, thank you. You can see we just cut to make a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So now we're going to turn it over and we're going to take fabric piece number 3. It's a purple one, and put right sides together, edges even. Put a pin. I like to, after all these years, I still like to pin. It makes it easier to get it to the bed of the machine. And then once it's there, I can take the pin out. And like I say, I like to put my presser foot down and then manually put my needle down. And if it's not in the right place, if it's not on the line and at the corner there, I would just lift it up and move it to where it needed to be. And then you just stitch to the other end. And you do not need to back stitch because you're going to have seams. See, we're going to have a seam line. This is a seam I just stitched. We're going to have another seam line going over it, so it will lock both of those lines of stitching in, so you don't have to back stitch. Oh, I hate looking at this tension. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And then we're just going to keep repeating these steps of stitching, pressing, and then trimming so we can stitch again. And that's all there is to it. No matter what block you're making, you start the same way. And you're gonna, the process is the same. Sizes and shapes are gonna change, but it's the same 3 steps of stitching, pressing, trimming. Okay, let's see, that was number 3. Number 4 is right here. And this is where we're going to stitch it on. So we're just going to keep repeating the same process. And do one more for you. Fold that back. Use your out a quarter ruler. And turn it over so the right sides of your fabrics are up. This is the edge we just trimmed. So from our stack over here, we're going to take the next piece, and it's going to go right there, right sides together. Put a pin in it. Turn it over. Remember, we stitch and we trim from the foundation side. And your cutting does not have to be real accurate. It's the line, sewing on the line, that gives you the accuracy. That's what makes this so much fun. When you're cutting, I cut, well, in this case, I think I just cut 4 layers at a time because all 16 blocks are exactly the same. So you're going to need, I may have cut 8 layers at a time. Because every block is going to need the same 6, they're exactly the same. So I just normally break it down by 16 blocks. It would be either 8 layers or 4 layers. And in traditional piecing, that's a no-no because you're not going to get super accurate pieces. And in traditional piecing, you're basing your perfection on a perfect cut and then a perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance. And to me, that was just always that took away a lot of the fun. So we tell you what size to cut all your pieces, and you can cut very quickly. And then, like I say, I prefer to stack my pieces in numerical order, so then I don't have to think anymore. So I think we pretty much covered how to make this block. I'm going to trim for piece number 5 next. And I'm not sure what we're going to do on Thursday. I am hoping to have something new. If not, if I look back through my notes and see some questions, we'll pull something else out, maybe something we've already done. But we'll have fun, make something pretty. Anyway, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Be sure you check out Laura tomorrow morning. And she's on from 10 till noon Eastern time. I think she's still working on the Halloween Hunter Star. It's coming out beautiful. I don't have all that fabric, but I have a lot of the same fabric, so it's making me wish I could do one. Anyway, have a great rest of your day today, a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll see you back here on Thursday at noon Pacific time. And hope you all have something fun that you're stitching on. Love to see what you're working on. You can join our chat room on Facebook and show us what you're working on and get some ideas from other people and just generally have a fun little time. Anyway, I gotta go. You guys take care. Thanks so much for joining me today. Hope you learned something new. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.